Okay, welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. This is going to be a long video and it's going to be a little bit of a longer intro because there's a lot of data here that I need to communicate to you so that we're all on board for when the reading happens. Okay, this is brought up to me by a viewer asking me to do a reading on some FBI raids on the home of Johnathan Buma, B-U-M-A. He was an FBI whistleblower who claimed that Trump world investigations were being suppressed by the FBI. So the story goes that his house in Orange County was raided on Monday. Search warrant was produced looking for possible classified material as the items that they were looking for and seizing. And they seized a bunch of documents and computers and phones and other electronic devices, so on and so forth. Mr. Buma's attorney, Scott Horton, said there were no classified information found in the raid, and I know that from talking to my client. Now, just as an aside, it's kind of a ballsy thing to say because if they did find stuff, then that's provably wrong. But it could very well be that nothing was found there. And we're going to get into this in a moment. So Buma is a whistleblower for the FBI. And he basically produced a 22-page disclosure to the Senate Judiciary Committee saying that he was ordered not to investigate Donald Trump's associates, and members of the White House as far as investigations going to Russia. It also describes evidence that he collected indicating that Rudy Giuliani was compromised by a Russian intelligence asset. Mind you, this fellow here, Johnathan Buma, was a Russian counterintelligence officer in the FBI, 15-year veteran. Okay, let's see, pausing for a second. The other bit from this first part was that during the raid, Buma was on medical leave from the Bureau. He had already turned in his gun, his badge, his car, and his phone. And then they went ahead and raided his house and took a bunch of electronic equipment. All right, so now clicking the link in this Business Insider article takes me to an August 9th story where they're reporting that they had reporting on a veteran FBI counterintelligence agent who said his supervisors told him to stop investigating Rudy Giuliani and cut off contact with any sources who reported on corruption by associates of former President Donald Trump. This guy had served 14 years as a special agent. He had provided a 22-page statement to the Senate Judiciary Committee on his intelligence gathering, and certain politically active figures and possibly also FBI agents who are connected to Russian and Ukrainian oligarchs. He was told basically anyone in the White House and any former or current associates of Donald Trump were not to be investigated. Okay, pausing. And he was told to stop investigating Trump and his associates in August of 2022. Pausing. Okay, I'm only pausing because I'm reading the article, trying to speed this up. He had received excellent or outstanding performance appraisals from 2010 through 2018, and he had been tapped to help verify information obtained by Robert Mueller for his report. In August of 2022, though, the meeting was a culmination of a years-long effort to frustrate his investigations into potential wrongdoing by political figures in Trump's circle, stretching all the way back to Trump's stint in the White House. In January 2022, 8 months before he was told to knock it off with his investigation, he had filed an internal complaint under the Whistleblower Protection Act, alleging numerous acts of intelligence suppression of my reporting related to foreign influence and the Capitol riots, retaliatory acts, and defamation of my own character. In his work, he had found that Giuliani had been paid for work by Pavel Fuchs, who was a Ukrainian oligarch and is an asset of Russian intelligence services. Fuchs had done business with Giuliani's company, Giuliani Security and Safety. And was alleged to have paid $300,000 for those services. Now, a spokesperson for Fuchs said, oh, he never gave the money to Giuliani. He used his business. But it's Giuliani's business. The whistleblower said he looked into claims that Giuliani had fraudulently raised money from investors to produce a never-completed film about Joe Biden before the 2020 election. I'm sure that would have been a hit. And that his reporting on Giuliani was not well received in the New York field office. He said that there was a supervisor that apparently he upset a supervisor. He didn't know who that supervisor was. But we do know who that supervisor was because it comes out later in the article. And that supervisor was, let's get his first name here, is Charlie McGonigal. Charlie McGonigal was an FBI lead. He was one of the head FBI New York, they call them Dons, but basically he was the one that was upset. Now, McGonigal, in this story, also in the Business Insider, was upset because the FBI ordered its staff to delete WhatsApp from their bureau-issued phones, and he was panicking. Apparently, he was on WhatsApp a lot, to the point where he bought a second Apple phone to only do his WhatsApp stuff. So he was trying to communicate on a secured network and send encrypted messages that he didn't want to do on his FBI phone, whoever he was talking to. And then he would meet with a former Russian agent and get manila envelopes passed out over to him. And this was testified by another FBI agent who I guess he was having an affair with. So, and now he's, I think he's been indicted on charges. Is that correct? Facing 2 federal indictments, lying to the FBI on his official paperwork and illicitly taking money to work for Oleg Deripaska. Tell me y'all have heard that name before. Another Russian oligarch. So there is all sorts of shadiness going on with this. So now the FBI is raiding this guy's home to look for documents, basically to undermine his credibility. Now, just before we get, now we're 7.5 minutes into this, and that's with me pausing, trying to speed it up. For the folks that have been really, really upset with Merrick Garland and how slow Merrick Garland has been progressing with things with Trump, Linda G and others have commented that Merrick Garland was trying to get rid of the bad eggs and the bad apples, the Trumpers that were in the DOJ that were basically, dug in like ticks in important positions, and he had to get rid of them. It looks like we've got the same exact issue in the FBI, and they haven't gotten rid of all of them yet. Because it sure seems like this raid is a retaliation for him being a whistleblower, and they're going after him to basically shut him up. That's what it looks like. And it looks like it's when he's being told in 2022 to knock off his investigations, or was it 2023? I'm forgetting already here. 2022 to knock off his investigations. They're still going after him. They're entrenched. There's some people entrenched in there. So maybe we can cut Merrick Garland a little slack, and maybe a little bit more pressure needs to be put on Christopher Wray, if he can even be trusted. Okay, entertainment purposes only. What's behind this FBI raid of Johnathan Buma? Come on down. The High Priestess. This guy knows a lot. He knows a lot, and he's good at what he does. They're worried about him because as a whistleblower, he's got the pearl of wisdom. He's got the pillars of wisdom and justice around him, and he's very skilled at what he does. The High Priestess is about secrets, but you can ask questions and you can get answers. So he has a lot of information that he can reveal. Crossed with the Ten of Wands, there's a burden here and a betrayal. he is being, he had to basically go as a whistleblower. He had done all this work showing corruption in the Trump administration. And by the way, one of his things in his in that article that came out in August of this year, where BI was talking about the whistleblower and not naming him, he was saying that one of the things, as imperfect as the FBI is, one of the things it does, the power it has, is to hold policy makers accountable. Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter. If you're corrupt, you're corrupt. And he wanted to clean up the FBI so that they could do their job. He's done the hard work, and now there's probably some compromised people in the FBI that are trying to make his life extremely difficult. It's an absolute betrayal to their oaths of office, to the oaths of the people of the United States. What's happening with this raid? This raid is unjust, and it might be legal, but it's definitely unjust. In the past, we've got the Seven of Cups. This is it's such a nuanced card here. Donald Trump and Russia have this way of just enthralling people. This is the corruption that's in the FBI right now with certain people in there. I do not believe it's Agent Buma that's the corrupt person. I think these are the people that are going after him. This is assuming that Agent Buma is telling the truth. There are no documents there, and he's been truthful on that one. That's the whole assumption with this reading, is that he's being truthful on that one. So if that's the case, then he has the ability to see through BS. He's got integrity, and the people that are making his life difficult don't. Current situation is Queen of Cups. They're trying to keep his mouth shut. They're trying to shut him down and keep him quiet so he doesn't talk about what he knows. They didn't like that he gave a 22-page report to the Senate Intelligence Committee, so they're trying to shut it down. But not going to be able to do it. Wheel of Fortune. It's almost fated. It's fated that he's supposed to be doing this and bringing this out. And it's already come out. The wheels have started. They're trying to shut it down, make things difficult, maybe hoping Trump gets in 2024 and slow things down. But the wheels of fortune have already started. They might try and thwart things here and there, but they're not going to be able to keep ahead of this story. This story will come out. Somebody is tied to the devil. Trump, Russian oligarchs, Russian money, and stuff like that. That's the core here of what's going on. A corruption, both in the FBI and the politicos that they've associated themselves with. The outcome is the Seven of Swords. I think the FBI, I hate to say that they're going to plant stuff on him. They certainly walked away with all his stuff. I would be very concerned about them planting information on it. I would be very concerned about that. I'm concerned about this card in here. This could simply be the raid coming in and taking all his stuff. But there is a lot of shenanigans and skullduggery that's involved with this. And this guy's probably going to go through some things more. Again, it's an absolute betrayal of this. I really hope he's okay. And his family's okay. I think they're going to really put the screws to him. Again, no, that's saying he's going to go through some things. I think the FBI, or the corrupt aspects of the FBI, are planning on doing that to this fellow. Next question. Will they plant information on him? Will they plant information on Officer Agent Buma? Not Puma. It's Fuma, I believe, right? It's Just rhymes with Buma, excuse me. Agent Buma. Peter Buma. Bugs Bunny for you. Agent Buma. Are they going to do anything with that? There's an illusion here. Manifesting. I think they're going to try and claim that they have stuff that they don't have. I don't know if they're going to try and image things onto his computer or insert documents in there. They're going to try and claim that he's got stuff that he shouldn't be having. Two of Wands, Page of Pentacles, the World card. Okay. I think they're going to try and say that he's been... I think they're going to try and say some evidence that he's been taking money from overseas agents, that he's been taking bribes from people around the world. That's what they're going to do. Is that they're going to say, yeah, he's got this lifestyle here because he's been on the dole from people around the world. I think that's how they're going to frame this. Basically, take the same thing that the that New York supervisor didn't like from Agent Buma, and they're going to put it right on him. Again, the Republican projection. If that's the case, Spirit, will Agent Buma be able to thwart this effort or beat these charges, beat these allegations? By the way, speaking of FBI whistleblowers, the two FBI whistleblowers that are the key to the Joe Biden impeachment thing, and how Biden was interfering with Hunter Biden investigation during the Trump administration. Those two credible sources both have acknowledged that they've taken money from Kash Patel or Kash Patel's political action committee. So they're paid for by Trump. Nothing like credibility. Nope. Nothing like it at all. Will Agent Buma be able to beat back this allegation? Yeah. Well, there's again, we're talking about destiny here. They may try and smear him. His information's out though. We've got the Three of Wands, the Six of Pentacles. I think that they may be successful in assassinating his character. They're going to try and show that he was taking bribes or something like that from foreigners or foreign governments. It just looks like they're going to smear him. They're going to... he'll give his testimony, but maybe this is just a public relations thing. They're trying to get ahead of it so that they can basically smear him. But the thing is, his information's already out and it's verifiable. So you know what? It's kind of like, this is kind of like the vibe I'm getting is like the Alexander Vindman, Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, who testified about the Trump and the perfect Ukraine call, and he spoke the truth, and he told his dad and everything like that it's okay, this is the United States, you speak the truth and represent that. And then he promptly got fired, and his twin brother got fired too, because F the both those guys. The same thing might happen with Johnathan Buma. This might be one of those things where they kick him out of the FBI, saying that he stole stuff or something along those lines, and try and assassinate his character. But he's already done his part. He's filed his whistleblower claim. He's got his information out there. But I think they're going to try and trump up some fake stuff on him, or basically smear him to try and ruin his credibility, just like they did with the Vindman brothers. I don't think it's going to work though. It'll work on the short term, but I don't think it's going to make a difference in the war. Okay, so Spirit, because this has been such an uplifting freaking reading, maybe you got a little something for us when it comes time to look at Rudy and the Trump administration and Russian oligarch money and stuff like that. Will Agent Buma's. There we go again with Buma. Will Agent Buma's testimony, his revelations, his whistleblowing, make a positive difference or lead to prosecution of corrupt officials? How about something like that? That's pretty vague, isn't it? Is that going to be vague enough? Sorry, I'm a little salty here. I'm still salty about the Ethics Committee and George Santos. You know, I don't like being wrong, especially when I put myself out there. Because, you know, intellectually, I could look at these cards and say, the Ethics Committee will never do anything against George Santos. Who are you kidding? They sent that there to get buried. And that's pretty much what they did. You know, I'm a real big, strong proponent of morals and ethics, and I hate it when you've got something like this who doesn't do their job. Segue back to this. Will Agent Buma's testimony and the information he revealed lead to any successful prosecutions and revelations about basically political figures under Russia's control? Page of Swords. Spies in the camp. Well, that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about spies in the camp. Specifically spies in the camp. The answer is yes. It's going to reveal it because here's the prison. here's the information coming out. It's opening day on these folks, and it's going to cause a firestorm of information. It's going to be like a witch hunt. Literally will be like the Salem witch hunts or the McCarthy communist hunts. But this time we're going after actual spies in that were in the White House or Trump associates. Yep. Okay. So there's that Seven of Swords again. The stealing, the grifting, the spying, all the stuff. That was the stuff in the past. There's that Wheel of Fortune again. But yeah, I think this guy's been actually super key on all this. So here's the Wheel of Fortune. This is his testimony. This is his stuff to the Senate Intelligence Committee. And it's out there. Happy days. This could be the Republican card. But I think the United States will be stronger for this because we're going to find out who's been behaving badly, and we might actually see a rainbow, a pot of gold out of all of this. And speaking of gold, there's the coins. I think the agencies are going to be looking at their members and getting rid of members who are corrupt. They also can start going after politicians and such in there. Queen of Wands. But it's going to be one of those things where they are kind of judicious who they're going after. Probably because there's really sensitive information and, you know, multiple layers of compromise that can affect national security. I don't think this is going to be one of those feel good, they got everybody, all the bad guys stories. I think they're going to have some scapegoats that they go after, but I also think that some people are going to skate because of who they are, favors that they've done, information, blackmail that they hold, you know, all that stuff that protects powerful and wealthy people from actually being held accountable for their bad actions that would get you or I thrown in prison for the next 20 to 25 years of our lives. That type of thing. Okay, I'm wrapping up the reading here. There's a lot of shenanigans going around with this, but this story isn't over with. There's a lot more to tell, and I think it's going to work out in the end. Okay, thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for all your likes and your shares and your comments and everything you do to help boost my channel with the YouTube algorithm so it makes it out to new viewers. To those new viewers, I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.